good. We need it. We're going to do our impromptu standing ovation.
I had to raise my hand because I've just been so thankful that it's been a great start of the school year. My kids are, well, okay, the boys aren't super happy to go back to school. But my daughter loves kindergarten, and she hasn't given me one boo-hoo or one, Mommy, I don't want to go. So I'm thankful.
Yay! And for all the moms who have kindergartners who cry, it's okay. We have those too. It's going to get better. It's going to get magical, I promise. Anybody else have something happy to share? Thank you for sharing. Come on, Sarah. Help a friend out.
Yeah, I'll help
I feel
her.
like I'm doing it.
So today in the car on the way home, my daughter said, Mom, you know how everybody says middle school is the worst, absolute worst? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, not so far for me. I absolutely love middle school. She said it's the best ever. That's what I said. I said it's only the second week.
I was going to say, knowing you as I did, you're like, well, it's going to happen. Just wait. It's going to have its ups and downs, for sure. And that's okay. Enjoy, ride the wave. Anybody, one more lovely something. Oh, two more. One, two. Because I need it.
So I have a freshman in college who said to me today, and she'll probably kill me for saying this, but she said, Mom, I never thought I would say this, but I miss CSD.
We miss her too. But yes, we won't tell her you said that. And last one, thank you for humoring me. I just needed this.
So I have an 8th grade middle schooler son, and he's asked me how his day was today, and he said, Mom, dance class was the best class ever. I said, why was that? And he goes, we laid on the floor and we explored different movements and how our arms moved and our legs moved, and it was like the best thing. So rolling around on the floor, 8th grade.
That's completely typical. Same for 5th grade boys, same for 8th grade boys, same for 11th grade boys, same for my husband. I'm teasing. So thank y'all for just humoring me. It's just been a hard day. So welcome. We're happy you're all here. Let me just start by introducing myself and the admin team. Hopefully, if they're not in here yet, they'll kill me because I'm not in. So I'm Joy Warner. I am the executive director and the founder here at CSD. This turnout is pitiful. I'm sorry. We have over 860 families, and we can't even fill up this room. That's pitiful. So chastise your friends. But can I just say thank you, because I know you're exhausted. School just started. Getting here is a pain. It's poor Jennifer's birthday. Some of you are here on a date. I'm like, I'm so sorry. The baton's got a date. The dumpster's got it. It's a pathetic date. You owe another date. This does not count, right? So that's it. No, when they get older, you don't need to sit her. So thank you all for coming. Seriously, for anyone who's not here, I'm going to ask everybody in the room if you would talk to 5 of your friends who aren't here. All of these times 5, and share the messages, because I know truly people are busy, spread thin, little people at home, big people at home, athletics, 4,000 million lessons and extra events to attend. So we thank you for making time to come, and thank you for coming to sit closer to me. So let me make sure you know the administrators in the room. So administrators, I know they're here because I've seen them. Marianne Cole, K7 Administrator, Julie Gardner, K7 Administrator, Leslie Tomko back there, one of the K7 Administrators, Connie Westner, one of the high school administrators, Anne Marie McAfee and Amy Tamales. They're sitting here, they're not as exhausted as they really are, right? And I think Erica's not here tonight, right? So this is our K-12 administrative team. Let me just start by saying, opening a school is the hardest thing I ever did. If I would have known how hard it was, I probably wouldn't have done it. But if I'm being completely honest, it's hard, it's lonely. You have these best of intentions, but it's very lonely being a leader. And truly, the thing that keeps me coming back in the doors every day are the children. Kindergarten through 12th grade, they're extraordinary. You did good, mamas and daddies. You have special children. The children, these leaders who are willing to share the burdens of leadership because it's lonely and it's hard. and you all, the parents who partner with us. So that's what keeps us coming through the doors every day to do work that sometimes you want to run away from in this crazy world, but you all keep us coming back. So thank you, and I'm incredibly grateful, particularly at the end of a long, hard day, for the administrators. I'm going to start crying. It's that beginning of the year exhaustion. So thank you all for helping lead this school. It's hard work. Not doing a PowerPoint, I finally figured out a few years ago I really stink when I use a PowerPoint. It throws off my energy, and I'm just not at my best. So no visuals except for me, 55 years old. You can thank me later, right? This is it. This is your show today. Seriously, I think we are videotaping them. So it is videotaped. We'll have the link when you chastise your friends and tell them they need to hear this. So in the room, stand up if you are brand new to CSD and this is your first year here at our school. Welcome. Hopefully in 5 years you're still coming to this meeting. I promise, I think I do a decent meeting. The turnout is not indicative of my presentation skills. Okay, if this year is your first, if anybody in this room has a kindergartner this year, because you know what, kindergarten, we just have to stand up and enjoy it. Stand up if you got a kindergartner. My teaching career began teaching kindergarten, and even though I'm a high school principal by day and K-12 leader by night, kindergarten is in my heart and my soul, and when I am in my walker and in my dying days at CSD, I will go back to kindergarten classrooms, and I will get that cute little pep in my step that kindergartners always have. So my gift or my comment to all of you kindergarten parents, enjoy the journey. If you've got a kindergartner who's happy to go, enjoy it. If you've got one who's clinging to your leg right now, I had one of each. It's part of their journey, and I call those children slow to warm, and they're going to be just fine. We are going to love them so much. It's going to be okay. So if you've got one of those little ones crying, it's going to be okay. But enjoy kindergarten. It's the most magical time. We get this gift of making kids fall in love with formal instruction, with school, and it's pretty extraordinary. Now, stand up if you have a senior this year. It's bittersweet, right? Like, I have so many families who their babies finally graduated from CSD, and I see them on Facebook or I run into them at the Harris Teeter, and I do have to fight the urge to fail your children, so you can't leave us, but we won't do that. But that thing I just said about kindergarten is true about senior. The best part about being at the high school every day is you get this front row seat of watching young people grow into young adulthood, and it's extraordinary. It's really magical and beautiful, and for those of you who have seniors this year, you're going to have lots of last, but you're going to have a lot of first as well. And I now am a mom of a 24-year-old who's getting ready to finish a master's degree, and a soon-to-be 20-year-old who's in his second year of college. He didn't get kicked out the first year. Awesome. Okay? Very different kids and very special, extraordinary, perfectly imperfect humans. So if this is your senior year with your not so little ones anymore, enjoy it. And when they leave the nest to go beyond high school, there's lots of special firsts as well. So just enjoy the journey. It's pretty cool getting to watch that at CSD, watch kids go from kindergarten birth to 12th grade. Very cool. All right. So our men team, we have a every Wednesday kindergarten through 12th grade and men team meeting where we really are working through leadership training and leadership book studies. But even in the midst of all that we need to learn and all that we need to do, we start that meeting with a moment for gratitude. It's a practice we started last year. Completely, Wednesdays are my favorite days, next to Thursdays and Fridays. Thursdays, Fridays, I teach my class, which is the best, but Wednesdays, it's gratitude. So I'm gonna ask you all to humor me. You can take out your phone, or you can just put it in your head and your heart and your thoughts. I want you to think of a person who you're grateful to have in your life. And you can think of that person. You can send a little text at our men meetings. We take 5 minutes and we send as many texts as we can fit in 5 minutes, and just acknowledge people for bringing goodness to our lives. So I'm going to make you do this with me, and here's why. Because you're going to leave this meeting so happy because you stopped for a minute. There's science behind this. If you just take a minute, stop, and be grateful for a human in your life, somebody, something. So just take a minute, send a text, send an email, or just a thought, and acknowledge how incredibly grateful you are for that one person in your life right now. 1 minute, go. And if you got the person beside you, you have to do another one. And when you look up at me, I'll know you're done. That's a teaching technique. So sometime this year, you all are going to let me know if you did this again. I promise you it's addictive. We started doing it on Wednesdays. I do it every day. I do it throughout the day. You know when I try to do it the most? It's when I'm having a rotten day, and it really can shift the day around. As I'm standing here thinking about it, I didn't do it today, and I had a really rotten day. So you better believe I'm going to be sending gratitude texts out the wazoo after this meeting. So I hope you'll consider building that into your life. I promise you, it's really cool to take a minute and thank people for being in your lives and bringing goodness. Okay, the goal of tonight, for those of you who are new to CSD, is to make you fall so madly in love with us when you leave here that you're just our total heartfelt partners in educating your children. That's our goal. I would like to kind of remind you of some of those big, important mission, vision kind of foundational structures here at CSD. I'll give you a little bit of specific information, which are just good reminders for the year, I hope. And then we'll kick off this awesome year with your children, hopefully as partners. So I know if you all are like me, is this y'all's third week of school? Yeah. All right, so it's teachers' fourth week, right? Oh, no wonder we're so exhausted. I know right now y'all are all rested, not stressed out, not worried about homework or dinner, or, if somebody lost their shoe for school tomorrow. It's just crazy. And the minute the week before school starts, we Zoom, it feels like, graduation. I would, again, encourage all of us just to stop and notice all year long the good stuff in the midst of the crazy, because this world can just suck us up, and we get so busy we forget to notice the beauty right in front of us. So last year at graduation, every year I give the graduation speech. I was thinking at some point I'm going to stop giving the graduation speech. Probably everyone will be so happy. They're going to be sick of hearing me. But I always the staff, we talk about that class of seniors. And this group that just graduated, my graduation speech is called it was called Points of Light. And let me tell you why. Some of you were there last year because you had seniors, right? A few in here? No? Did we have any? Oh, yeah. Okay, we had a few. So, this crazy world is full of lots of hard stuff. The hardest part I think about being a principal is the burdens you carry in your heart worrying for the kids and the families that you serve. It is sometimes bring you to your knees. And in one day, you can go from the kid who just read their first book to finding out a dear family member has cancer, to a kid or a family that just lost their dog, to a kid who just passed their first EOG, to a kid who is really struggling with depression. I mean, like, all in a day. It's like that. Well, that group of seniors last year, one of the things that really stuck out to me about them is when we thought about them as a whole, we couldn't. Because when we thought about those kids, what jumps out at you is their unique one-on-one interactions with you. All the administrators, all the high school teachers, tell me what your thoughts are about class of 2019. It's this moment I had with Anne Marie. I had this moment with Bowden. That was the unique beauty of the class of 2019. And to give you an example, we had we'll call it a challenging moment, a difficult moment at our athletic events, where our fans, our student fans, sometimes a few parent fans too, were not representing the CSD that we represent, right? Or the CSD that we intend to be. We're talking with kids individually. I have a leadership class. Last year I had 2 sections, 25 kids each, and we dealt with that topic in my leadership section. And the kids, that's part of that class. We talk about real life school problems and they have to help solve them. That's their job in leadership. And it was fascinating to me because so many of the kids said, until I took this class, I really didn't understand how problems are so multifaceted. They're kids, 9th through 12th grade. 9th through 12th grade kids talked about multifaceted problems. It was pretty cool. So I said to them, here's the deal, guys. We've got to fix this. We've got to fix this. So when I'm at that PLP game, at PLP, here's the deal. That whole notion of gang mentality, when I look up into the stands, I don't see a gang. I see Jennifer and Betsy and Krista and Anne Marie. You are my points of light in that stand, and I will be looking for you, and I know you will help fix this. And I still to this day remember that game. I remember it vividly. I'm looking at Bowden, and he's looking really uncomfortable because he's got this group going well, but this kid over here, he's like, oh man, he is not doing a good job. He even told me later, I sat with different people. I watched those little points of light all throughout those fans doing goodness. It was like a wave of goodness through those stands at the PLP game of kids trying to do the right thing. Here's what I said to the teachers at the back to school, and I say it to you. In the hardest of the hardest days, as the leader of this school and as the leaders of this school, we look to you and to our kids and to our staff as the points of light. There's hard stuff happening in this world. People are losing loved ones. People are frightened of losing loved ones. Families are struggling. There's a lot of hard stuff happening in our world. And the only way I know to survive that is to look for the goodness and to look for the points of light. So my challenge to you all in the coming year is to be a point of light in the midst of this world, to model for our children and our students what that looks like, and to inspire them to want to be that same point of light, that goodness out in this world. At the end of the day, Every single time I have a hard day, it's the kids that give me hope. So I hope as we go into this year, we can all be reminded that our kids are watching and remember the power of goodness. It always, my husband calls CSD the train of goodwill. He's like, I don't know how it happens at that school, but even when it shouldn't happen the way it does, every time goodness prevails, which I really needed to hear today because I need a little dose of goodness. So I ask you as you enter this school year just to kind of think of that notion of being a point of light in this school, in this world. Reach out to a new person and welcome them. Teach our children to reach out to new folks and welcome them. And scoop each other up. The very dearest relationships I've had in this lifetime, a huge majority are because of this school. So if you want to experience goodness at a very high level, get to know the people in this school. You're surrounded by awesomeness. Okay, couple of things. I just want to remind you just down the list. How's my time? All right, doing pretty good. Carpool, such a fun topic. I've talked about this in my leadership class. Here's the deal, we hate getting cursed out by neighbors. Please be nice to them and just follow the rules. We are in, the high school's in the middle of a neighborhood. The elementary school's on a main thoroughfare. The reality is we bring a ton of traffic to Davidson, and that's not good. We're increasing buses as fast as we can. We know that our traffic puts a burden in the community. So just be kind and thoughtful, considerate, try to follow the rules. I promise you that 2 extra minutes that you gain by cutting somebody off or going the way you know you're not supposed to go. At the high school, it's invariably cutting through the cut-through streets. Is it legal for you to go through the neighborhood here at the high school? Yeah, it's legal. They're public roads. Does it make my life wonderful when I have 5 neighbors on the front porch ready to say, come on, this is a school in the middle of a neighborhood. Work with me here. Please, please, please just be considerate. Please, if you have student drivers, you cannot remind them enough of people walking their dogs, of little people, of animals, of stop and go traffic, this thing, and that goes to parents too. Like we all are tempted to pick it up in the car. We all are. Oh my gosh. Do any of us want the horrible trauma of a child hit by a car or somebody's beloved pet because we were not paying attention? Please, please, please just be the very most wonderful, thoughtful neighbors that we can be so that we just are modeling for our kids what we hope that they will do, which is be good neighbors. Parking. At the K7 building, the carpool lane during high traffic during the day, performance days, we've got all those planted parking places. That becomes an extra parking lot. At the high school building, 2 things. If you're parking on the street, try never to park in front of somebody's home. There's a 14-month pregnant woman nearby. I'm joking. She's not really 14 months, but let me tell you, I just want to pick her up and carry her somewhere. She is ready to give birth. And it makes me so sad when I see our families parked in front of her house and she's having to walk further when she should be able to park in front of her house. So please, please, please don't park in front of anybody's house. The high school main entrance, past that is the meanest man I've ever met. Do not park there. He scares me. Do not drive past the main entrance of the high school. I'm not joking. It's scary. It's really scary. And it's right in front of his house. It is awful. So, if I see him coming, I call the police. It's that scary. I'm telling you, stay away. Just stay away. So just really, for the goodness of all, please be considerate. Try to park in the parking lots. If you're parking on the street, try not to park in front of somebody's home. Go slowly, go carefully. Put your phones down. Remind your high school drivers how incredibly tragic it would be for them to accidentally hurt someone with that big, powerful machine. And high school parents, the kids drive too fast in the parking lot. They're not trying to be bad. They just don't understand. So you just can't remind them enough. Okay? That's the yucky purple lecture. I'm sorry. Budget. First of all, let me say thank you for our phenomenal fundraising last year. I never cease to be amazed. We had a record. Is Joyce in here? She's what? She's probably out there taking care of somebody. We had a record number of families participate in our fundraising last year, and that's huge to me. If you're a struggling family financially, I've been there. I grew up in a trailer park. I paid my own way through college. I have been in a place in my life where I struggled on a tight budget. So know that. No judgment. Give us your heart, give us your time. And here's what I would do. I would say, come on kids, we're gonna have a babysitting night for our friends because we're doing something for the school. You know, those little baggies of lemonade stand dollars that kids give sometimes, those are the things that bring me to my knees. But the thing that I'm most struck with is when the message our kids get is this is our community. We give of our time, we give of our hearts, we give of our support, and we give of our resources. And again, don't think, to the family who says to me, yeah, we are able to give a giant donation, and we would be paying for private school if our kids were at CSD. I take that check and I run to the bank as fast as I can because we need that money, and I appreciate it. They're giving generously because they can, but there are other families that are really struggling financially. And again, I've been there. Just know every dollar helps. But the more families that we check that box that they are engaged and supportive of the school, that's to me true success. It's less about the bottom line and more about in my fantasy world, someday, maybe this could be my retirement gift, in my fantasy world, one day, every single family at CSD says, I support the school. And it doesn't matter the amount, but that one day we have 100%. That's my fantasy. We'll see if that ever happens. Thank you, though. Last year we had record numbers of families participating and a record amount of money collected. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Last year was year 2 of our big capital fundraising circuit. This will be year 3, so we'll be getting year 3 of those pledges in. I've got all kinds of crazy ideas in my head for what's next, so we'll keep you posted. But this year we'll close out year 3 of those pledges. We have many more things we need for CSD. I think I got are you ready for this? You're going to be so glad you have to pay the bills I pay. I got the quote for the new roof at K7, which anybody want to give me a guess? Just under $400,000 for the new roof at the K7 building. Isn't that crazy? I kind of want to put a roofer's belt on and do it myself. I would be a rich woman if I could learn to do that. So obviously we have more buses to buy. We need to do a new roof at the K7 building. We've now purchased that property. We've got a long-term lease on this, but we need to purchase this property. We need more buses. Teacher pay, teacher pay, teacher pay, because everybody wants these teachers because they're so stinking good, and they'll offer them more money to go teach elsewhere. We're getting to a place where we're going to need to do a new playground at the K7 building, which is kind of exciting. So lots of things that we need to do. So fundraising will be a forever for us. Here is my promise to you. I have been very sad for 2 reasons about our buses. One, we have some people on our wait list for the satellite bus, and that makes me sad. Families want to be on there. We want to help. And number 2, we do not have a bus that has wheelchair accessibility, and we have a kid who needs it. So here is my promise to you. Tomorrow you're going to get an email that has our annual, we're asking you for money if you can give it. Please give it. Please make a pledge. If our pledges and donations come in quickly, I am going to go ahead and take the plunge, and we're going to go ahead and order a new bus. It's about $105,000. to get one with the chairlift for the handicap accessibility. But if we can move hard, strong, and fast on pledges and donations, I'm gonna trust the process, and we're ordering the bus immediately, because we just can't wait. I've also got Nancy looking for used buses. That's what a lot of charter schools do. We got one, used one, its name is the Lemon. Does that tell you anything? That being said, after about 5 years of the Lemon, Nancy's got that sucker going. Like, it's reliable. We fixed everything. We paid a lot of money to fix the Lemon, but I still won't send it far because I'm afraid. I'm like, no, keep the women local. So I have her looking for more, preferably not Lemons, but we're that desperate for buses that I feel like, okay, if we can find some decent, good ones, we could add some to our fleet cheaply, but and keep them local. And obviously I wouldn't buy anything unsafe, but we need buses. We need buses for athletics. We need buses for morning and afternoon, bringing to school and getting kids home. So please, please, please get the word out. If people will, it takes 3 to 4 months to build the bus. So I could order it tomorrow, and it's going to be at least 3 months. So we needed it yesterday. I had planned, that was going to be my surprise last year to y'all when we over fundraised, and instead I spent it on mold and mildew remediation, right? So fun, right? Okay. To give you a sense, for those of you who are new, we have about a $13 million budget that we run at CSD K to 12, and over 75% of that is human resources. So it's salary and the taxes and health and retirement. So over 75% of our budget is human resources. You can tell what we value here. So this year for fundraising, you know those little discount cards that some of you are so sad you have to sell for $10? So here's what I want you to know. The reason we don't like families being asked to sell things, that's the only one thing we ever sell. And here's why we do it. We didn't used to do it. We had families say to us, we don't have money to make donations. Our family struggles financially, but we want to help. Would you do one thing that we could sell as a school so we can feel like we do our part? And we have families that sell 60 of those cards. You sell one card, really, it's a good deal, right? You can use that thing twice and get your $10 back. I know some of you write the $200 check and give them as gifts. I know, that's what I do too. I hate selling things. And some of you choose not to sell them, and that's okay, because here's the deal. If you're going to be mad about it, just don't. Send them back and be happy. Life's too short. Send them back. We'll hope somebody else will sell your 20, because it's just not worth the negativity, right? But here's what I want you to know. Do you know how much we raised with that last year? $85,000. So sell the cards if you don't mind. That's a lot of money. It's pretty painless too. I'm like, that's a lot of money. I use them as gifts. Yes?
Well, I know somebody brought this up last year, but on the card there's an Ace Hardware thing that you can up to $30 get 50% off any one item. And
you make money on
So you make money on those cards?
Other schools sell them for 20. We sell them for 10. And Joyce Burke, other schools have to pay a company to do that. Joyce Burke does that as part of her job here. She's a dog with a bone too. She will not let them tell her no. For those of you who are business people in here, no, you cannot have Joyce. She's mine. Okay. Fundraising. So we've got the discount cards. Now you're all going to be so committed to selling yours and somebody else's and somebody else's. Is this working? All right. We have a golf tournament for the first time ever. We're having it in the fall. Is that right? It's the first time we've ever had it in the fall? October 25th. Here's the deal with the golf tournament. We need golfers. We need at least 18 foursomes. So you'll be asked to help us get golfers. It's a Friday. And sponsors. Because we really don't make that much money off the golfers, because, you know, it's expensive to have a golf tournament. So sponsors, people who will do golf cart sponsors and golf tournament sponsors. So if you know businesses, if you own businesses, we so appreciate your help. And definitely, if you play golf, or if you have friends that play golf, come on out and play golf, because we would really love to at least fill all the golf carts with golfers. You don't want to fill them with joy. I can't, like, hit the ball. And then we have the annual campaign that you'll get the email about tonight, and that's kind of it. So we don't have an auction. We do an auction every other year, and I think we're looking at trading auction and golf tournament every other. That's still to be determined. There's going to be lots of, yes?
Kickball tournament. Did I hear, are you going to speak about that?
I will. I wasn't going to. We're not going to have a kickball tournament this year because we're going to have a ribbon cutting at our new, our Spartan Park facility, March 3rd maybe. And so we're going to do a big outdoor event there. It's too much to try to do two things, and we have to have a big celebration for that big event. Parent advisory in September. Does anybody know that date? It's soon. So Julie's going to give us the date in a minute. The whole, that's an evening meeting, and the whole topic of that evening will be update on Spartan Park and what you know, just update. Pictures, discussion. So if you want to go down on that, you can come to that event. September 24th at 7:30 in Miss Band's high school 9th grade English classroom. Thank you. So we're doing ribbon cutting. It'll be kind of like an outdoor festival. Y'all, every time I go to our property, I get so excited. I can't, Barbara Christian went out there with Jay. Where's Jay? Are you in here, Jay? Is he hiding? Yeah. Oh, there you are. Oh, are you hiding? Tell them what Barbara Christian said to you. Barbara Christian is one of our high school science teachers. Of course, just for the record, Jay lives out there. I think he lives there all the time. Will you just give him a 2-minute, what's special happening out there?
Yes, hello, I'm Jay Martin, one of the athletic directors here at the school. First, let's give Miss Joy a round of applause. And I give you guys an applause. Actually, when I found out the meeting was going on tonight, my first response was I kind of got a little upset, and I realized I don't have kids that go here anymore, so I'm no longer getting that parent email anymore. My youngest son graduated last year, so with that being said. But Barbara Christian is one of the best science teachers here at the high school, and she's thinking about all these things that she wants to be able to do and bring her classes to a new facility, kind of for these outdoor learning spaces. And we couldn't walk another couple hundred yards until she had another experiment that she was going in regards to measuring the trees and having kids come up with some idea of how much carbon, footprint that these guys, the trees, the value of the trees, and how big they are, and stuff that I'm the athletic director, right? So I don't know all the stuff, like laying down wood and how the mud was drying. Every time we took a step, there was another science experiment that she was going to get all excited about on the facility. So it is a beautiful facility. Can't wait for ribbon cutting that will hopefully be in March. Kind of one thing right now, though, if you see the guys working, please don't go out there, right?
They yell at Jay if we stop by.
Because it is still a work site now with OSHA, and you could fall and get hurt. Things just nature. But I can't wait to show it to everybody else.
So is it 40 acres? Is that right?
Just a little over 40 acres.
So, right. So here's the best part, right? So we got this 40 acres, and we're going to have our big stadium, our handicap accessible track, the only one of its kind up here in Lake Norman for sure. So the lanes are wide enough for wheelchairs, so we can host Special Olympics. It's a space that is a resource in an inclusive community like nobody else around here has. Excellent surfacing. We've got the turf stadium. We've got how many tennis courts? 8.
But in the parent meeting that we said is coming up later next month, I will tell you all the secrets about it. But yeah, one thing's great about our track is 8 lanes. And the only other track that has handicap or wide enough lanes for that wheelchair accessible track is UNCC. That includes App, that includes Davidson and Johnson C. Smith, all the other colleges. So to have a track like that is really impressive. One of the things too about, if I can brag on our athletics and our kids, last year we had a senior that won the state championship in the triple jump. Never before had he even attempted triple jump. And then add on top of that, we never had a track that allowed him to practice the triple jump. And he goes to the state meet and finishes in first place. What an extraordinary young man. And he's going to college not on a track scholarship, but to be a poet, right? How much even better than that is, right? And I can brag about our athletics one more time real quick. There's a trophy called the Wells Fargo Cup. And what it does is it takes all your athletic programs, combines them together on how you've been successful, and everything from girls soccer to boys lacrosse to golf to swimming and everything else. They add up all your accomplishments. And out of the entire state of North Carolina and schools our size, we finished in first place. But one of the things that we love the most is one of our starting defensive end right here in September 20th is going to be doing plays right here in the black box. So some of you kindergartners, I saw you stand up before, come watch some of our athletes right being plays on September 20th. And then our homecoming football game will be the next Friday night. We actually have homecoming at Mallard Creek. Right? So one of the exciting part is having our own facility is eventually we'll have homecoming on a place we actually call home.
People sometimes say, why are your kids so gifted academically? And I say it's because they're artists and athletes. And they say, why are your kids so gifted artistically? And I say it's because they're scholars and athletes. And you get the picture, right? It's the whole child. And really having a space where all facets of development are valued, goodness prevails, kids are multifaceted, they're more interesting, our kids kick butt on interviews, they're really interesting people to talk to, and it's all those experiences that create those humans. So yay for our kids and yay for families who understand making space in life for academics, arts, and athletics gives this whole child the space to grow and develop as a whole human. So kudos to you all, because I know you make sacrifices to make those things happen, especially with carpools, right? Okay, I want to just give you a couple of other just little tidbits. Can I just say, remember last year here at the end of the year event and Karen Solomonson, without me really knowing exactly what she was going to do, totally said, come, don't let CSD lose what makes it special, which is the ties that bind us together, right? It's that notion of being a collaborative partner in this school, and that looks like all kinds of things. This year at the high school, we have a record number of start-of-the-year volunteers. I will tell you, I am so humbled. If you ever want to give of your time here and somebody says no, it will just be because they were caught off guard and they weren't ready. But let an administrator know, because I promise you there's work to be done. And if the person you asked just didn't know of anything right that minute, please let us know. It may take us a week or two, but we will never let you go again. You know, we've got people now that are like spending whole Wednesdays working in the science hall, and high school parents helping our art teachers. So we've always had, that K-5 heavier involvement. But as your kids get older, they kind of push you away. But we're figuring out better ways to use parent volunteers. One thing that we've struggled with as leaders is that kind of apathy that can set in when things are going well. It's just human nature. But after some reflection, I think that's our fault. I think we became such a big organization, we quit asking specifically for help. I think what I learned last year is I need to say, I need a high school art volunteer any day from 8 to 12. I need some master gardeners to come. This one's coming. I haven't posted it yet, but I need some master gardeners to come work with our high school to make it every bit as magical outside as that K7 building. I just posted last week our conference room where we have our board meetings. There are no curtains, and every time we have a board meeting, the board members are blinded by the sun because of the way the table sits. And I posted on the crier, would anybody be willing to make 3 window treatments? I mean, it was minutes. And I have a mama saying, my mom and I'll do it. The next morning, Melissa and Rose are there, grandma and mom, and I'm like overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, overwhelmed. And I said, thank you so much. I'll pay for the fabric. Just tell me what I need to do. And they looked at me and said, you know, this school has changed my daughter's life, the trajectory of her life. Please, we'll make you all the curtains you want. So part of what's been not quite as right in terms of the parent volunteerism is on us. We haven't done a good job of being specific and asking. So now we know how to do that better. Let me tell you, in addition to the curtains and the gardening and the reading with kids, the more important reason we're asking is because that's what builds community. That's what makes parents who go to the Chick-fil-A playground and they get just as mad when they see another CSD kid get pushed down the slide as they would if it was their own kid. That's what makes a community that roots for all children, not just our own. So please get involved. Our community is only what it is. That thing that you feel when you walk in the door of this school, that good thing that you feel, is the goodness that comes from collaborative community. Please, please, please help us protect that. I'm on a mission with that this year. Okay. I know you all got my bullying message in that very adorable video of me. Let me say this loud and clear. There's a difference between being bullied and being rude, and being a bully and being rude and being mean. All of those things need to be addressed. But bullying is different in that it's about power, it's about repetition. It's a very big deal. It never gets better. It never will get better without intervention. Do not assume it will go away. Here, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what's going to happen. Either your child won't tell you, and you got to figure it out, which means you reach out to teachers and say, something's wrong with my kid, can you help me watch, can you help me figure it out? Or your kid tells you, and 99% of the time, what do you think your kid says? Please don't say anything. And you're going to do it anyway. Because it's not going to get better. I promise you, we have dealt with this, we know how to deal with it. It may take 2 or 3 interventions, because it's a journey and it's a process, but we take it seriously. It is a big deal. And here's why you don't have to worry about that feeling of, I don't want to be a tattletale. It is just as damaging to the child who is bullying as it is to the victim. It is a break of humanity. Everyone suffers. The kid bullying, the targeted kid, and the bystanders, because the bystanders, it shakes their confidence in the world they live in. I am begging you, if you hear or see anything that looks unkind or hurtful, you need to say something. See something, say something. We'll strategize with you. If you're like, my kid doesn't know I'm telling you, we will strategize with you. We have all kinds of strategies, but I am begging you, never ever hold back. We can't help if we don't know. Any questions, thoughts about that? It's a big deal, and we need your help. Yeah?
In the past, I worked in kindergarten, and I got an opportunity to go and get some training on bullying. And one of the biggest things I think is we forget to tell our kids, one of the coolest things as far as bullying is being left out.
Yeah. Social relational.
And I think that's just one of those things that we all can work on and try to tell our kids. But that always seems to be forgotten. They're like, I wasn't mean. No, you weren't mean, but you weren't nice either. You weren't inclusive. So I don't know, I just like to try to remind.
I agree. I think we have to coach from the sidelines. We have to coach our kids. Remember how that kid might feel. Remember how new, you're starting a new school year. Remember how scary it must be to be a new kid. Do you ever see kids sitting alone? Do you ever see kids being mistreated? In our family, the values are that we don't stand for that. We don't allow people to be mistreated and not do anything. So yes, it doesn't always look like a fight. You used to think bullying when we were kids, it's about being beat up. But the emotional and the cyberbullying, I'm telling you, it's complex. But if something doesn't feel right, please report, because that's our job to support everyone so they can be their best versions of themselves. And bystanders, bullies, and targets in that instance are all suffering. We have to know, I'm begging you. Later this year, they're rolling out, there's a new legislation that says every 6th through 12th grade must have an anonymous app to report things, like could be, I'm worried about a kid committing suicide, I'm worried about something I'm seeing on social media, I'm being bullied, or I see so-and-so bullying. So we're going to follow that law. There will be an app that we will roll out. They're telling us October. Usually with North Carolina DPI, that means January. We'll see. Because, it's bureaucracy and things are always complex. Here's what I need you to know from me. We'll put that app out there. We'll let you do it anonymously. If that's the only way you'll do it, we'll take it. Is that my preference? No. My preference is that you all trust that we are partners and we are going to work together. And if I know, if Jim says, hey Joy, I'm listening to my kids, my girls, and they're saying something's going down in that Arts Commons bathroom during, Jumpstart, I can then go back to Jim, hey, you didn't say what period of day, did you catch what period? We can collaborate. That's the community I hope we are. I hope we're also the community when you're mad or sad, you can come to us. I don't know if anybody will stand up. I want to believe in my heart of hearts that you all know that if you're sad with us or frustrated with us or mad with us because something doesn't sound right, that you'll come to us. There have been a lot of times parents have come to us angry, more than I care to admit. Not once have I yelled. Not once have we conveyed retribution against their child. That's not, like, we wouldn't be educators if that's how we thought. But there is this fear, I think, of parents, if I say something, they'll hate me. If I say something, there's this, something bad will happen if I speak up. There have been times in this room that I may say, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that point because I'm not going to lie to you. A good leader is not trying to make everybody happy. A good leader is being clear on the mission and vision, staying true to the mission and vision, and being willing to say the hard things, which is sometimes, I'm sorry you're sad with me, but that's not going to change, and I don't want to mislead you. That's leadership. You all get mad at me and them sometimes because it's leadership. We don't always agree, but we won't lie to you, and we won't be mean to you or your children. We just won't. What feels really yucky is when, 8 parents later says, well, so-and-so told so-and-so told so-and-so. I'm like, come on, kid, you just come to me. Let us try to fix this. So I am begging you, if something feels awful, speak up. I would love it if the email didn't start with a paragraph of cursing me out. I would love it. I would love it if the email started out with, my kid's saying this and it just doesn't sound right. Or can you help me understand such and such? And again, we may end that discussion with, we're going to have to agree to disagree, but we'll be honest with you. And then you'll figure out, as parents do every day across our country, does the good at this school outweigh the things about them that drive me crazy? Because the reality is we know we drive you crazy. Sometimes it's not our intention, but that's just life. We're not one person, right? So just know that we want to work together. Okay, I have 10 minutes to say a couple of quick more things. Okay, I have one last thing. So, when I was a little girl, I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was a little girl, believe it or not, I was super shy. And we moved a lot growing up. And the big joke in my family was wherever we moved, they would always find Joy, I was the baby of 4, in one of 2 places. Either I was at some random senior citizen's house who I had adopted as a grandparent. I have many. Thank goodness none of them were like bad people because I was randomly just drawn to elderly people. And I would spend hours and hours at Miss Ida's house wiping off her little ceramics figures, and so honored that she trusted me to touch it. And Mr. Tomato Man working in his garden. He got free labor all the time, snapping beans with him on his porch. That was one place I was. The other place that I always was when I wasn't at a random senior's house was in what I call the woods. Some people call that the forest, but I call that the woods. That was my whole childhood I spent in the woods. I played all kinds of games with my siblings and my friends, but I spent hours upon hours in the woods by myself all the time. I had make-believe worlds like you cannot imagine. Here is the admission that I will make to you. The other thing about Joy in the Woods is that I was convinced I had superpowers. True story. You know that ringing that you get in your ear that I think is actually a medical condition? I thought that was my special sign. And I'm doing my woo and talking to the woods and making winds blow and changing the world. I was convinced, no joke, at kind of an older age than I'm going to admit, that I was special. I had superpowers. I had a purpose on this earth, and it was to do good, all because of the ringing in my ears and Linda Carter, right? I did not look like Linda Carter. So I'm in the woods, changing the world, right? And powerful and strong. Here's this little shy person. I spent hours out there truly thinking I'm making the wind blow, right? And as I got older and I started facing real life hard things, I started to feel like strength and courage was this, I'd always thought it was this superhuman hero, this Superman, Wonder Woman, Almighty Isis. That's my vision of a hero. But as I've grown to an almost 55-year-old woman, here's what I want you to know. Heroes are not superhuman. They don't have superpowers. While we think heroes are people who are never afraid, that's not really what courage is. Courage is being afraid and doing it anyway. And I want you to know that's what educators do every single day. This is hard work. We lay in bed worried about kids and families. I've had kids lose mamas and daddies. I've had kids cutting. I've had kids have suicidal thoughts. I've had kids think that there's nothing to live for. It is traumatic. It's so hard. And there are days where I think, I'm not cut out for this. I'm not strong enough. But you know what? We all get out of bed, we come in every morning, we see your kids, and we're inspired to take that step. Again, as we start this year, I hope you will know that we're doing hard work. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make you mad. We're going to have to say we're sorry. And sometimes we're going to agree to disagree, and I'm going to tell you no. No, I can't do that. And you're going to leave my office mad. I'll be nice about it though. But at the end of the day, that's what we do. We do the hard things. We are willing to stand alone when our integrity and the mission and the vision of this school is on the line. So I beg of you to remember the intentions of the people who work here. When you hear somebody venting, encourage them to come talk to somebody. Please, I am begging you, don't try to solve big problems on social media. I'm begging you. I can't keep up with y'all. Like, I try to get on Facebook every 2 days. Mainly, I try to get on there because I just love y'all. And for the little people at K7, I don't know you because I'm over here now, and I love to see your cute little families. But big problems can't be solved on social media. Please, please, please don't put a big thing on the parent page. And if you've got a question about how we do things, ask us. Let us have the opportunity to interact as professionals for the big things, right? In my head, this is for the celebrations and being able to see you. But if you have a problem and you have a question, please ask us. Let us help you. We want CSD community so strong that when things go wrong, and they will, your kid's going to have a friend problem, your kid's going to have a teacher problem, have I pray that's the worst that happens. You know, I just got a text from Sophia Schatz, who graduated last year from CSC. She's fighting cancer. She sent me a picture of her with her little Emerson College mug. She's still fighting cancer. She's texted that to me before I walked in this room. Bad stuff's gonna happen. And in the scheme of life, take a step back and think, is this thing that I'm so mad about really important? Meanwhile, children are dying, and mamas and daddies are dying. So please, 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 hunker down together, develop relationships with us so that when things go wrong, we have a relationship on which to stand to work through the hard things. Have a good evening. We love you. Tell everybody who wasn't here that they missed $100 giveaways.